Good afternoon. Welcome to Crossbuckle Homestead. This afternoon I'm going to walk you through a recipe for cranberry relish or cranberry salsa, whichever you want to call it. But this is a family tradition. We've been doing it for probably about 15, 16 years now. And it's really delicious and it's super easy and it's actually pretty healthy. So come along with me and I'll show you how to do that. So instead of the regular cooked cranberry relish that you have at the table with your turkey and your stuffing and all of that, this is actually something that we serve as an appetizer or an hors d'oeuvre in advance. You can serve it over a block of cream cheese, with crackers. You can serve it we like to have it with tortilla chips, and just scoop it on up and it's pretty delicious. Definitely something you have to make a day or more in advance, just because the sugar that we're gonna put together with the cranberries helps make the cranberries juicier, and that's really what you're gonna want. So we're gonna use cranberries, cilantro, green onions, regular limes, a little bit of olive oil. We will also need a red onion and some jalapeños, and then sugar. You can do this by hand. My aunt used to do it by hand all the time, chopping up your cranberries. But I feel like we would end up with more cranberries on the floor, and we'd be finding them well past Christmas. What we're using instead is a food processor, and what I like to do is process everything individually. So process the cranberries with the sugar. That way the cranberries and the sugar get mixed up really well, and they can start to macerate. Then I like to put the onions with the cilantro and the lime and blitz that in the food processor. And then really just combine everything and let it sit overnight. So like I said, super quick recipe, super few ingredients, and it tastes fresh and delicious every time. Okay, so let's show you what we do. Toss these cranberries in the food processor. These are just two 8-ounce bags. They're the organic ones, and for some reason they always come in less quantity than the regular conventional cranberries. That way you pay more for them without feeling bad about it, I guess. Then to this mixture, just pick out any weird ones you see. This mixture, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of sugar. I would rather start with less sugar. So I think the original recipe called for about a cup of sugar, but I always start with 1/2 cup. Some cranberries are sweeter than others, and I would rather be able to taste the flavor of the cranberries and the onions and the jalapeños and the cilantro and everything we put in, rather than just sugar, especially since I feel like you have enough of that during the holidays anyways. So we'll start with 1/2 cup of that. We'll put the lid on, and we will, and this is personal preference, so I like it to be a little bit thicker of a chop rather than like a puree or anything like that, but this is totally up to you as well. So you'll see that sugar is already getting the juices out of the cranberries. Okay. So a little bit of a close-up shot. This is how I like it to look, with some larger pieces in there. The rest of them, you can still see that it's cranberry. You'll see that there's a lot of white and red in here right now, but when you actually go to serve it the next day or 24 hours later, you will know there is no more white. The sugar will have completely eradicated the white and portion and made it super sweet. So we are going to dump this in our bowl. We are going to salvage the blade out of here And you can see how super technical I am. I'm leaving, I haven't scraped the bowl down, I haven't done any of that. So, the next thing I've done is I have cut the green onions, the ends, both ends off, and cut them into short pieces, just so that they blend better in the food processor. I've also, for 16 ounces of cranberries, I've also used half a red onion. I've also cut that up into chunks. And I have put 2 jalapeños. I have seeded 1.5 of them. So one of the halves of jalapeno still has the seed, so it will have a little bit of bite. And then we'll take 1 bunch of cilantro and you can put some of the stems in. I don't put all of the stems in. So, and then break the bunch in half again, just so it's easier to blend. I'm gonna put 1.5 bunches in just because this is a little bit small, the bunches. So it kind of depends. I've seen some places where the cilantro bunches are so large that there's no way you would be able to use a single one in this recipe all the way. So just kind of play it by ear. When you see the final result, you'll see kind of the ratio that you're supposed to have. So put that in there. I also like it extra limey, so I've taken the rind off of 1 lime, and we're going to add that in here. You could use a zester if you like, but I'm lazy, and so I didn't. Salt and pepper, just to bring the flavor out. I'm going to add about just a little less than a teaspoon of salt. I don't like it very salty, but it definitely helps the flavors come together. Just going to throw that in there, and then grind some black pepper in. I don't know, probably like half a teaspoon or so. And then on top of that, I'm going to actually juice an entire lime. So you have here is like a really beautiful color, this red, the red of the cranberries with the green of the onions and the cilantro and the lime. And so you can see why it's a really good holiday dish, although I think that it would be really good in the middle of summer too. Just really refreshing. The acidity from the cranberries and the lime really helps kind of cut through all that fat and sugar that you're eating in your holiday meals. It just makes it a really refreshing refreshment. Okay, got that. I'm going to put the lid on one more time. I'm going to do my shaky method, and we'll see what it looks like in the end. Awesome, so I have blended it a little bit, and you'll see there's still some long strands, so I'm going to go ahead and use a spatula and move everything around, and then zhuzh it together one more time with a little bit of olive oil. It's probably about 3-4 tablespoons of olive oil total. Get those long cilantro strands down by the blade of the food processor. And then we'll zhuzh it one more time. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna grab this bowl of cranberries. Go ahead and take the blade out at this point. You're not gonna need it again. And then we are going to combine the green to the red. So this is the point where you would mix it together. Oops, let's move over to this one light. You would mix this together and give it a taste to see how tart it is, see if it needs more lime, see if it needs more salt, see if it needs more sugar, and then you would cover it and set it in the fridge overnight. Okay, so you'll see everything's mixed together really well. I went ahead and I did a taste. You do not want it homogeneous. It really does benefit from having larger chunks of some things, smaller chunks of others. Makes it a little bit more fun to eat that way too. This one needs a little bit more lime juice, so I'm going to go ahead and put another half a lime of juice in here, and then I'm going to set it in the fridge overnight. I will show you the results the next day, just so you can see how the transformation of the salsa overnight. That sugar really does amazing things to those cranberries. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Crossbuckle Homestead. This is the very next day, and I wanted to show you what the cranberry salsa looks like. So like I said, it's going to get much deeper red in color. The green is really going to pop with that red. It looks great. I'm bringing this into a potluck at work, and so I've just got the cream cheese in there, because that's what everybody in the Midwest likes. And we've got the cranberry on top, and you can see that there's some liquid that's going to be draining out there. That's the responsibility of the sugar and the salt. But this is really delicious, has just a little touch of heat, not enough to really upset anyone's palates, but it's really bright and zingy, and that's exactly what we're going to want on our potluck day. I'm probably going to go to the store and grab some chips and serve them with chips. It's a little bit easier for everybody to scoop it out with that, but really looking forward to the potluck today. Thanks so much for joining us. Let me know if you end up making this for your families for the holiday. Again, cranberries, lime, cilantro, green onions, red onion, salt, pepper, sugar, and jalapeno if you prefer. So super easy, super quick, and it really does make for a festive treat.